is Dean, and here we are again. Here you are again. It is Tuesday. The sun's kind of shining where we are. We got a shitload of stuff to get to, from NFTs and crypto bros to dollar store corn to selling shirts for a great cause to the collapse of an NHL team, Canada's team, and everybody's here to talk about it today. Please welcome back Chris Rook, Lochlin Cross, 957 Cruise FM at Edmonton, and of course from the Hot Wallet podcast, former radio star, now day trader and financial educator. Please welcome Mr. Scott Trades, ladies and gentlemen. That's Scott Trades, Scotty Mac. Nice to see you. Good to see everybody.
What's up, everyone?
Nice
good to see you.
We're good. Before we get to a couple of things, I do want to point out Lochlin is wearing the shirt that we spent 5 minutes making it, and we had to sit on it for months. But the Oilers lost; they got swept.
Say that we should, because the guy that designed these things did a freaking amazing job. This was one we got. It wasn't a Scotty. I'm going to do this on paint at home. Mm-hmm. It was done by our designer guy in Newfoundland. What's his name again?
Glenn.
He's
Glenn in Newfoundland.
Talented, man.
Yeah, yes.
I like this one, but I love the design he did for the Leafs.
Yeah,
the decades of disappointment.
Well, let's start there, because we've got some merch to sell. And yesterday, the Oilers got swept by the Avalanche, losing in overtime 6-5. Really valiant effort. Whatever. You can't win with a 100-year-old goaltender and no defense. We saw that yesterday. But a valiant effort. They get into the third round. Nice, cute, cool, whatever. Same trophy as the Leafs and every other team that didn't make it to the Stanley Cup final get. Congratulations to the Avalanche and Nazem Kadri.
About your
it is.
Your early exit. Then
I do.
You guys
it does. It does. It makes me feel really good about it. But Lachlan's talking about these shirts because the Leafs lost in the first round, of course, Game 7, 5 years in a row.
They were out in April.
Yeah. We've got the Decades of Disappointment Leaf jersey. You can get it in black, you can get it in white, bunch of different colors. But go buy it because it's a lot of fun to wear around. If you're not going to win, you might as well make fun of the fact you're just perennial losers. Much like the Edmonton Oilers, Decades of Disappointment, this shirt is now on sale. Decades of Disappointment with the oil drop. I think it's got loser on the back. Is that correct? Does it have loser on the back? And then 90, like the last time you won a cup?
No.
Pretty sure it does.
We have 90, and then we have 67 on the back of the Leafs ones. But right. You guys wanted to make a bigger point. Mm-hmm. So you guys put up a selection of the same design on the front on the Dean Blundell shop where it just says losers.
Losers, yeah. Losers, Scotty. Losers.
I love those. I love them so much.
They're amazing. The thing is, I don't put money in Kates's pocket. I can still be a fan without buying a new jersey and a hat and dropping $1,000 on going to one game in a regular season matchup against the Coyotes. So I like stuff like this that there's another group in town called Oilers Nation, and they do a lot of really cool, and I'll buy their shirts every once in a while. They do some fun stuff.
It's fun to do. It's fun to have fun with it though. Sorry, Scotty.
What the interview he had where
I was going to say, Locke, maybe if you did buy a jersey once in a while, they'd be able to afford a defense and a goalie.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, I am pretty certain that Cates is not he's at home right now in his $100 million home in Los Angeles
with his new nose.
Yeah, I honestly think that if there is any problems with money, it starts there.
Yeah.
Did you see his hair? His hair was wild. Yeah. Every time he's
really sick, eh?
Yeah. Oh, is he? I had no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's a couple of different theories on what happened to him. So he's got an infection in his head, in his sinuses that can't be treated with antibiotics.
Oh no.
So this could have been something that occurred from maybe a habit, we'll leave it at that, or from plastic surgery. Mm-hmm. So he has been close to death quite a few times over the last few years.
Did they show him on TV during the run? Did they? And he didn't look good, huh? I didn't watch much of that. Yeah,
he looks awful, and he's sort of given up on his hair. And he looks dude, Scott, he looks scary. Like,
oh yeah, totally. Every time they went to him, it was like he was waking up. Oh, they scored.
yeah,
and I had obviously I don't
good.
know about his medical condition or anything. I just thought, wow, he looks like Doc Brown.
That's why I brought it up, because when they put him on camera, he did a press conference. I think it was last year.
Oh, he looks tough. Oof.
And when he came out, everyone was like, "What the hell's going on?" And then there was the overly sensitive group with, "Well, he's got a medical condition." That still is worth making fun of. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So this is the old on the left. This is old Daryl Katz. This is this a better representation of what Daryl Katz looked like during the series last night? If they flashed him on camera,
bigger hair in real life, bigger hair.
Oh, more hair,
bigger hair during during the game last night. That's for sure.
Yeah. So what we have here, because I actually we tweeted about this a couple of years ago, and this is the press conference that he gave when they hired Ken Holland, when they fired everybody for the 14th time and started new for the 14th time, if you remember that. And he came in and he was like this, and I'm like, holy shit, what happened to Daryl Katz? And it was like this spate of anger that I got back from people going, you don't know, I have no idea what he's going on. And I'm like, I'm just saying, this looks suspicious. This looks very, very suspicious in terms of how someone gets that nasal infection. I know people that have gotten it, but he's also had, as you've pointed out, a whole bunch of other work. Not to shit all over this man who's obviously got a medical condition and he's struggling, but like these pictures are taken 2 years apart. That guy aged so fucking fast because of whatever he's got going on. And I don't want to make mention of what he's got going on, because I know people that know him and they've told me what he's got going on. But the bottom line is he's had this terrible post-nasal infection that he hasn't been able to get rid of. And he's had to have a bunch of work done. And he's had a bunch of other work done, I guess, to try to, as some people do when they get to their advancing years, try and turn the clock back or something. But I mean, my God, that was a tough look. I didn't know he looked this bad still. I just assumed that he would have been able to get that fixed, but there's no coming back from that, I guess.
He looks like he looks like most crypto traders I know. One of the pictures was last year, and then the new pictures this year.
Is that what those crypto bros do? They make like $5 million out of it. They're like, I'm gonna get a new face, man. I'm gonna get
and then they give it all back in the second picture.
Yeah.
One of these people have been buying too many of the dips.
Yeah.
Here's
the dip.
the thing. Here's the
keeps
thing.
Buying the dip.
And this is not my saying.
Different dip.
There's no free lunch in life. There just is.
No. There's a tax for everything. Yeah, there's a tax for everything, and that there is a tax for living life, if you will. But let's get to the news. Oilers lose, swept, no big deal. I just wanted to bring this up. Picture of Connor standing there with a couple other guys. No Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. I don't know who this other guy is. Doesn't even matter. Lost. Probably Cody Ceci, I guess.
Who is that?
That's
Derek Ryan.
Derek Ryan. He lost. Doesn't matter. Then there's this poor kid who's been battling cancer, who you guys let down. That's nice. Ben Stelter, way to go. And then everybody in the league.
Ben.
Poor guy. It was nice though. The Avs are like, we're all in this for Ben, which was really cool after the game, because I know Ben was really upset. He's been an incredible story. But then all the Oiler fans after, because you can never lose 4 straight legitimately, according to Oiler fans. They put this out because the Avalanche gathered with the actual Western Conference, the Wales Conference Trophy. They got together and they photoshopped all these referees in it. It's fucking great.
I didn't see that one.
Like the referees helped them win the actual Western Conference.
You know what? Can I speak to that?
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter what series you watch. There's going to be some questionable calls on the ice from refs, and sometimes they go your way and sometimes they don't. I believe in the hockey gods, and we got one at the end of the Flames series. I don't think that was a kicking motion. I don't think that shouldn't have been a goal, or shouldn't have been taken away in my the skate, remember?
Oh, fuck, dude. Who cares?
5? Yeah. I thought that totally looked like a kick. I think it totally looked like a kick. But really? I also thought the offside call in the Avs game was totally offside.
Yeah, which it wasn't. But I also thought that was a kick in Game 5. Yeah, it was totally offside.
See, like right here.
Yeah, here we go.
We got two like completely opposing opinions, and I don't know. I don't know Scott well enough to know if he's just doing it to try to fuck with me, which he might be, because there's no way that was offside. And totally I'm trying to give one to the Flames by saying that puck was going in anyway.
Yeah.
So he should have got that goal, and that changes the entire.
No, it doesn't. It was fucking 8-6. The goal. There's 14 fucking goals, and you're mad about one offside.
I'm talking about the Flames.
Oh yeah. Kicking goal.
Yes, it does. Listen to me. I've tried to explain this. Don't do this to me again.
All right.
The offside.
Yeah.
It was 2-2. Okay. Yeah. He challenges it. They lose 3-2. Cassian's in the box. Beginning of the second period. They come out. Kadri scores within 16 seconds. 4-2. Take 2 goals away. 6-6 at the end of the fucking third period. Goes into overtime. Changes the entire complexity of that game and possibly this series. Right? But here's my point. Listen, I didn't want to go down this road again.
Man, I got him fired up. I'm so sorry.
I didn't want to go down this road. Honestly.
It's okay.
I actually I have an asset of Mike Smith.
You got a Mike Smith asset? Yeah, let's have the Mike Smith asset. What do you got? Oh, there it is. There's Mike Smith.
Locke, show him that tweet that I sent you. I sent Locke a great tweet today about Mike Smith because he seems to argue with every goal that goes in. And he's, I think the tweet was something along the lines of he's fighting a spirit that only he can see.
Should we wish him a happy retirement?
No,
the show.
I think it's over. I think Mike Smith calls her quits at the end of the season. The interesting thing about where Edmonton's at going into the off season is I think this motivates them. And I know everyone says that, and it's the trope thing to say about a team that gets, ceremoniously removed from the chance at the cup. But the thing is, I don't think anybody in this town, including many of the people that are within the Edmonton Oilers organization, expected the team to make it to the Western Conference Final, and that's fair. You should, if you're being a realistic fan, you should definitely be aware of that. So the fact that they got to the Western Conference Final is pretty remarkable.
It's a wonderful thing for the city. It was nice to see the city alive. It was great to see the people of Edmonton have something to hope for. It was the last Canadian team in it. Listen, there's huge marks for the city of Edmonton. Great marks for Ken Holland. I think Jay Woodcroft, if you don't re-sign him to a long-term deal, you're crazy. I love the guy. I think he's terrific. You had Darnell Nurse playing with a torn hip adductor or something like that. And then you had Leon Draisaitl could barely get off the ice, hammer away 35 points in 3 series. So, there's lots of good stuff to talk about. The one thing I want to get to, which I find interesting, and this kind of surfaced this morning, hearing Connor McDavid wants out of Edmonton, and he wants to play closer to home, or, quote, wherever Evander Kane isn't Lochlin Cross. Again, I don't control the rumors. And it's big news.
Bullshit.
It's big news to the point where everybody's chiming in. It's like one of the biggest tweets on Twitter right now. Something has to give with Edmonton. No defense, no goaltending, only scoring. Eventually, McDavid will want to win. Holland is not a good team builder. He can only do it with an unlimited cap space. That's right. They just made it to the Final Four. 28 other teams didn't. Doesn't matter. They still lost. Same color trophy. My buddy Matt's like, McDavid wants to play in Toronto like all NHL players. That I have on good authority as well. And then
I gotta
PB
say something about Matt.
Let me finish this one. Playing in Toronto is great for players. They get a longer off season and more time for golf. Listen, you can shit on it all you want, but I'll tell you what the Leafs have never done. They haven't been swept in a series in the playoffs for 40 years. 40 years. You got swept twice in 2 years. Once in the first round last year, and then you got swept again this year. So listen, we can do tit for tat all you like. Bottom line is, McDavid said, it's cold here. I can't stand it. I'm never going to win. I love this city. I've literally done everything I can. This team just isn't good enough to win a cup. I don't think it can be fixed. Connor McDavid. That seems legit.
That's fake.
There's Connor McDavid right now. He's wearing a Leaf jersey. And he looks happy. Like, that seems real. This seems like a childhood dream that probably will come true this year. If everything I know to be true comes to fruition, Connor McDavid is probably going to be a Toronto Maple Leaf by July, August. Yeah, I'm just saying, there he is again. Man, does he ever look happy. So look at that picture, and then look at this picture, right? Bring that one back, Rook. Let's see the other one. Oh, look at that. Connor McDavid, look at that same smile because he's got a Leaf jersey in front of him. Absolute disgust wearing an Oilers jersey. It's probably going to happen in the next 2 months. I don't want to say book it, but book it.
You know what? Here's what I'll say about the Edmonton Oilers.
Oh,
they're in Edmonton.
They're not the Leafs, thank God. Because the Leafs, as disappointed as I am about this team's run this year and getting swept by Colorado and not winning last night.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know if I could take watching the Leafs.
Could you imagine if the Leafs were in the Eastern Conference Finals
first round
for a 6th year in a row?
Every year.
Oh, that's funny too.
Last night was too much for me. The one thing, like,
our stress was over, as you pointed out. Our stress was over in April, right? So yeah.
So for me, like, I learned a lot as a fan. I learned what I need to do, and in the off season, I'm going to be working on this. Like, that weekday drinking was really hard on me this year, right? So I'm going to try to perfect that. So if we get a deeper run next year, I'm going to be able to keep up with the team, I think.
I get a phone call yesterday from Locke, and he's on his way back from the optometrist, Scotty. This is a true story. He's on his way back from the optometrist. And I'm like, how you doing? He goes, oh, fuck, I'm so happy I got my glasses fixed. I thought I was going to have to go to my backup pair. I go, what happened? He goes, wow.
Which I hate.
I was watching the game on the weekend, and I don't know. I got, like, super fucking drunk.
On Saturday night.
And he goes, so I wake up, my alarm goes off. For some reason, I set my alarm, like, because radio guys, if you're a morning person, you know this, right? You set your alarm for 7 days a week because you're so petrified of not getting up for work in the morning. So he sets his alarm, wakes up on a Sunday, does the full hungover, still drunk. What the fuck? And literally demos his glasses, right? And like demos his glasses, and he's on his way back, and he's like, fuck, am I ever glad I got these fucking things fixed.
Water
everywhere. Yeah.
It's my back.
Watching the game by himself, by the way, which is a fucking savage move if you're one of those drinkers that likes to fucking just gear down and drink about 16 beers while you're watching a game. Like most people, I remember when I was like, before I decided to not drink, I remember a friend of mine goes, you know where you went wrong? And I'm like, where? He goes, drinking on your own. I go, that's the only time I love to drink is when I'm by myself because I can get as drunk as I want. He's like, yeah. So that was Lochlin the other night and pretty much every night, right? So here's the problem. The problem is you're either not drinking enough during the week and you need to get out that drinking shape up, or you're drinking too much.
Like the Oilers are going to go for another deep run next year, and I plan on being more prepared next year for that run.
You should be.
I'll be working along right beside this team. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I love seeing that.
Under Cups 1, Edmonton Oilers 5, Leafs, 11? Yeah, but not since 67. We can't brag. I hate when we do this. Yeah. We can't brag. We suck balls too, dude. We've lost 5 Game 7s in a row. Sorry, Scotty, you were going to say something.
I was just going to say, Locke, I honestly feel like we need an intervention, brother. Like for your drinking through the week. I'm a little concerned about that.
I'll tell you what, Scotty, here's what we'll do. I'll give you my wife's number and you talk to her. If you're that concerned about me, you can commiserate with the wife. Maybe you two can sort something out.
All right. After 5 minutes of talking with her, will I start drinking too?
Probably.
Actually, no, my wife is a sweetheart. She really is. She has to put up with me.
I'm more concerned about the Arby's 7 times a week than the drinking there, Locke.
He does yoga, so he's fine.
I try to offset it with some healthy living, and that includes yoga and walking the dog. Yeah,
walking the dog, or whatever.
It's called a lot of things. Wow. He calls it walking the dog. You can call it whatever you want. Anyway, just so you know, to all my Oiler fans, you can go get the Decades of Disappointment Oiler jersey right now at deanblundell.com. You can get that. You can also grab yourself the Decades of Disappointment Leaf jersey because neither of our fan bases have anything to fucking be proud about this morning. Like, not one of us. Sure, you made it into the 3rd round. Sure, you gave a couple of people a nice fancy time for the past couple of weeks. That's pretty much it. Nothing is everything is the same. Nothing has changed. These teams are still losers, and if you want to represent these losers, please go and spend $36, between $30 and $36 doing it. You can get it shipped right to your door. You can get these shipped right to your friend, your Oiler fans that had the flags on the car and were painting their face and getting drunk in front of the Rexall Center, thinking that the world was theirs and everything was wonderful. Comes crashing down because Gabriel Landeskog dragged his balls across your face. And quick point. I would like to say this about Nathan McKinnon. He had 5 points last night. That dude is a fucking player. And we can sit around and talk about the Oilers losing, but that Avs team's really fucking good. Really fucking good. And they deserve all the credit because they're champions of the Western Conference.
Yeah, and they're going to get a break. I don't know if Kadri's going to be back. He had thumb surgery yesterday, so that might eliminate him from a chance at playing. And can I tell a quick story about the decades of disappointment?
Is it quick?
It's
never
quick.
quick.
30 seconds, Rook.
All right.
30 seconds.
Okay.
So Grant made a comment about decades of disappointment on the locker room. And he was referring to not only the Oilers, but the Leafs. And Scotty, the t-shirt guy, was listening to the show, and he goes, "That's a shirt." So that day I called Dean and I went, this is before the playoffs even started. He goes, we should get some logos made of these. Decades of disappointment. Do an Oilers shirt up and do a Leafs shirt up, right? Because the chance of them going on a serious run and winning the Stanley Cup, slim to none. We both decided that it was a good idea to do the decal, right? So we had that built. We had the shirt ready to go. And remember, we really liked the Leafs one. Like, I think that's a great looking logo.
I do too. The upside down
awesome.
maple leaf. Yeah.
Yes, it's he did such a good job. Anyway, Dean wanted to put it up before the team even lost.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, no, that is an awful idea. We shouldn't even be talking about it.
Yeah.
Okay. The team loses. The Leafs lose. I told you guys, we're not putting it up. We put it up the day after they lose. Okay. And it starts selling like crazy, right? Leaf fans are buying into the shirt. Okay. And I think we've sold between 25 and 50 of those shirts from the Dean Blundell's shop. The Decades of Disappointment shirt for the Leafs. Okay. Now, I hung on to the Oilers one, but I bought one ahead of time because before I as a guy behind the scenes, I can order stuff with these sample packs. So I got this shirt and I left it in the bag. And I didn't open it up until last night after they lost. And I wore it today. Talked about it on the show. People lit me up. They were like, "You're the reason why the fucking team lost." I swear to God. All of a sudden, I'm getting blamed for pre-ordering a shirt.
Well, that's because you people are fucking crazy. That's because fans, like Uber fans, and listen, I know we sell a lot of merch on our shop and we'd love for you to go there and buy it and stuff like that. But I bought a bunch of shirts too, like Lochlin did. And I bought the Leafs Decades of Disappointment shirt too, because I'm like, I'm going to wear this thing. And I sent it to a picture of it to a buddy of mine who's a massive Leaf fan. He's like, "You're a fucking disgrace." And I'm like, "Dude, it's a shirt. Like, what the fuck are you talking about?" He goes, "You're going to fucking curse the team before they even get into the fucking playoffs." And I'm like, yeah. That's the whole idea. It's just a fucking shirt. It's supposed to be a laugh, a lark. We're supposed to try to make money off it. It's content. That's all we're talking about. And he fucking muted me and then blocked my number. And then after the playoffs are over with, no word of a lie. He's that fucking insane. Like Leaf and Oiler fans, if your team is just a loser fan base of perennial losers that have never had a hope or a sniff, and it gets worse every year and everybody's scratching their heads. On the other side of that, there are some fucking psychotic fans who literally take this so personally. There are people in Edmonton today. We've had a few weeks to get over the fucking embarrassment, but there are people in Edmonton today that will not leave their house because the Oilers got swept last night. Those are the people that you want to send this shirt to. Go to deanblundell.com, order from the shop and get their address and send this to them. It will make them insane. Absolutely insane. So what did I do with my friend who blocked me? I literally hand-delivered one of these shirts to him.
Good.
Yeah. I went to his house with it, and I'm like, "Can you please," because his lovely wife, Sharon, she's in the front yard. She's like, "Hi, Dean." I go, "Hey, I got a present for Brian." She's like, well, and they
Thanks
fly
for
like one of
naming.
those leaf flags out front of their garage. So they're one of those people, like one of those fans where it's like, that family season tickets for 200 years. We're not going. I'm like, dude, get a load of this shirt. So you know what he did? I am not kidding you. He put it in his compost bin and put his compost bin on my fucking front step.
Wow. Hey,
pretty good.
It's like $36. You just wasted $36.
Why would you stop at just the Leafs and the Oilers? Like, there's, you should do every team.
Yeah, we tried. We tried, but like nobody bought it.
These teams, though,
Maybe a league of disappointment for the CFL.
There's stop. The CFL is a great league.
It's garbage.
Okay, Rook. Okay,
Aren't they in
hold on.
like negotiations right now that aren't going too great?
No.
Yeah, the players are striking because they're not willing to budge on that minimum $36,000 a year salary. Oh, sorry, I didn't know. Oh, see, now that's how you know it sucks, is that I had no idea it got sorted out. Anyway, go ahead.
Here's you cocks would rather support billionaires fucking and paying millionaires, charging thousands of dollars for tickets when you can literally get in your Nissan and head to the fucking CFL stadium in Toronto for $40. You can get seats where you're literally, you can almost
For
touch
$60
the
you can take a couple of snaps behind quarterback. For $100 you can actually run the ball from the running back position at least twice. There are packages for that. The CFL has packages where you can actually line up on the offensive line if you pay enough for your ticket. It's like an experience. That's what the CFL needs to do. If they want to bring people out, no, seriously. If they said, Dean, will you come to a CFL game? I'd say no. And if they said, listen, would you come if we let you take a couple of snaps and toss the ball deep? I'm like, probably. And I'd pay for that experience. So if CFL, if you're listening, that's what you need to do next. Make it a fan experience where fans with the price of their tickets can actually get on the bench, maybe go in for a few plays, maybe play some special teams.
Listen,
all those armchair coaches can finally get a chance to actually coach the team.
Totally. Yeah.
Listen, we had over 30,000 people at a preseason game on Friday and raised thousands of dollars for Ukraine. For the Ukraine Foundation.
That's great. That's got nothing to do with how terrible the
that's
product
the CFL. That's the CFL.
Maybe in
Guess what
Edmonton.
they do for the Oilers game? That 50-50, they skim like 15-20% off the top.
Do they really?
That is the rumor.
Oh, I can't pass along
that's the rumor. And no one's complaining about it because the company that
new faces are expensive.
Millions of dollars.
Here comes a lawsuit.
Did you buy the 50-50 lock?
Yeah. No, of course
I
you
buy
didn't.
The 50-50 every time for the games, for the CFL games. Absolutely.
Wait a second.
Oh, okay.
So, okay, you don't buy the 50-50 for the Oilers games. That's
no.
Right. No. Okay, well, what you do? Don't get mad at me.
High school football. There's my girl right
CFL,
there.
high school football. It's the best.
There you go.
All right. Enough of that shit. Scott's here because he's the host of the Hot Wallet podcast. It's a podcast about crypto. It's a podcast about financial planning. He works for a company called stockmarketmentor.com. And he's also got his own website, and follow him on Twitter at Scott Trades. And the reason why I wanted to have you here was, believe it or not to talk about the CFL. It was not to talk about a little bit of Oilers, because I know you're an Oilers fan and you're probably, in memoriam this morning, like most of people's in Oiler Nation. But whatever, it doesn't matter because we're over. And just making fun of Lochlin and threatening to pull Connor McDavid out of Edmonton is just enough for me. I'm just happy we got a chance to do that.
He's not going to leave. He's not going to.
He probably will. Anyway, that's what I'm hearing. I don't control the rumors.
They had a great run.
All right. So, couple of things I wanted to talk to you about. Elon Musk and NFTs. Now, the reason why I wanted to talk to you about Elon Musk is because there's this report that came out. Axios put it out. A bunch of other people. Elon Musk lawyer sent a letter to Twitter asserting his right to, quote, not consummate, end quote, the acquisition, and a, quote, right to terminate the merger agreement, end quote. So this actually stems from, if you believe what Elon Musk is saying, is prior to his $44 billion offer to buy all of Twitter stock and take it private, he had no idea Twitter had bots and spam, and as much bots and spam as they do. Now, we all know how much bots, how much spam. We know it's a wasteland by and large. We know how it works. I don't have 44 billion, and in no way would I spring for an entire platform if I did have that kind of money. It's just fucking ridiculous. But if I did, if I was that stupid, I would have done something called due diligence prior to the purchase. And what I would have done is I would have said, how many bots and how much spam? What are we talking here? Because I want to get rid of it all. And are we to assume, is he trying to get us to assume that he had no idea what he was buying with $44 billion? Or is this just an excuse as you look at it to go, you know what, that was a great troll job, might cost me a couple billion. I have no idea what to think, but smarter people than me that I talk to all have said the same thing the entire time this has been going on. He was never gonna buy it. Your thoughts, Mr. Scott Trades?
So this is something that has been going back and forth for me mentally, just trying to understand, what is he trying to do exactly? And I fully believe that he sees Twitter as the world town square and likes the idea of the platform. And anyone who uses Twitter, as we know, for more than 5 seconds can see that there is a ton of spam bots. I get spammed all the time, especially in the NFT world or anything crypto. People are always trying to reply to me with their spam links. Some people will actually even create fake accounts of me and then try and message my followers, trying to get them to, send the money or whatever. So I think what his problem is, especially with Twitter, is that they have a measurement for how they look at spam accounts.
Mm-hmm.
And they are using that measurement, and he thinks that they should be using a different measurement because he doesn't believe that the one they're using is accurate. And so what he is complaining about is that their reporting of how many accounts are actually spam is incorrect. And because of that, says, well, if we are unable to determine how many of your users are actually real and how many are not, then I don't want to be part of that deal. So I think it could be kind of a big bargaining chip for them to give him more information before going through with the purchase so that he can then adjust the price and say, okay, instead of 44 billion, you know what? The market's in a downturn right now. How about 20 billion and see if that works. So that's kind of what I think is happening right now. He's trying to lower the price because, as we know, Tesla stock has been going down. The entire market has been going down since around November. And, somewhere around $25 trillion worth of value has been wiped from equity markets in the last couple of months here.
Right. And he's one of the leaders in that department. When you talk about loss, like Tesla's loss is over half of their stock price over the last year, from my understanding. You would know more than me. Is that part of it? Do you think he's feeling some heat from investors in Tesla? Do you think he's feeling some heat from other people that he's got business with? And do you think this debt load is just too much?
I mean, I don't know about his personal finances, but all I can say is just with the market changing, that would make him want to redo the deal because he may have the opportunity to get it cheaper if he is going to go through with it. So I think that is going to be used as kind of a bargaining chip that, you're not giving us all the information about how your platform actually works. And again, how many people are fake and how many are real. So I think that's kind of what he's doing. If you look at some of the VC space, venture capital space, valuations have dropped significantly. Like I listen to a venture capitalist podcast sometimes, and they'll talk about how a year ago, from now, valuations were like 100 times revenue. And now with the market downturn, they're coming down to kind of more realistic levels. And so he may be using this as an opportunity to get Twitter for not nearly as much money.
So in the meantime, though, here's what's happened, right? In the meantime, he's been floating those flares. Like, to me, this is one of those flares. He's been floating flares about Twitter's board is acting in bad faith. This guy plans on suing me. I don't know if I'm going to go through. I mean, this is like the fourth or fifth threat since he's actually offered the $44 billion of not buying it for a number of reasons. And then he'll come out and tweet again. It's always a fucking tweet. I'm still interested in this deal. And to me, it feels like he's been doing that for some time, grinding down, trying to affect the price. Meanwhile, while he's doing it, all the collateral that he put up with his Tesla stock and whatever that went into has dropped significantly as well. So, like, my understanding is to be able to service that debt, it's going to be about $1 billion based on that $44 billion valuation of what he wanted to buy it for. Now, everything is worth half of what it was at the time when he was like, hey, listen, I'll buy that. To that case, it's almost like a third because he offered double what the actual valuation was when he bought it. So it's down like 50, 60, 70%, which means prior to even consuming this deal, he has lost 60% of that $44 billion right off the top. Am I understanding that correctly?
No, you're exactly right. And so if I look at Twitter stock right now, like what was the price that he was trying to get it at?
54.20, I believe.
Yeah, so now it's at $40. So from that 54 level, it's down about 27% from where from where his initial offer came in, or 20, between 27 and 30% ish. And so again, this, in my opinion, is complete negotiation tactics. He is negotiating in the open, in public. And this is something he did with Tesla stock a while ago. At one point he tweeted out 420 funding, thinking of taking Tesla private, 420 funding secured is his tweet. And at that time, I think the price of Tesla stock was around the $300 level. And that, the stock ramped big time because everyone thought, oh my God, he's selling the company for $420 per share. And so, the stock ramped. And so,
and it later came out that was non-existent, that was just a lie. My understanding.
He just was trolling. Yeah. And what ended up happening, I don't think the SEC was actually able to do anything about it. Yeah. And my understanding is that the SEC even now can't do anything about him tweeting about Twitter stock and moving the price up and down. Because it is still in open negotiations. So I'll be interested to see how this plays out. As I, have gone on public record to say, I think him owning the company would be good because there's a lot of improvements that should be done to Twitter, including the spam bot thing. One of the ideas about Twitter is that people are throwing around is using crypto actually to secure accounts. So anyone who wants to have a real account has to put like $20 worth of Bitcoin in a holding account, and then your account is essentially verified from there. And then that way, if anyone, any spam bot is creating an account, it would cost them money, because right now the cost of creating a spam account is $0. Yeah. So even if you put that account at, at $20 and say there's 500 spam accounts, well, all of a sudden that's real money.
Yeah, but then, dude, he's propping up crypto, right? Because, like, what are there, a billion? Not even. There's like, maybe let's just ballpark 1 billion users. I mean, then he's propping up an industry that's also somewhat corrupt, and I want to get to that in just a second, too. It's totally deregulated. People are getting arrested. NFT bros are getting popped. Locke, you wanted to ask a question. Sorry,
well,
I didn't mean to interrupt.
It does. No, it's fine. It doesn't. It still sort of ties into the conversation. I don't want to put a stop in the direction we're going here, but Musk, a lot of people don't get his motivation. Is he still kind of known, Scott, for being that, like, does he play the long game? Like, there's a reason why he does some of the shit that he does, right? And he benefits from it financially a lot of times. Or do you think that's catching up with him now?
No, I think he does play the long game, and he loves to bet against people who are betting against him. Like Jim Cramer, for example, was calling Tesla like basically a sham, and you shouldn't buy the Tesla stock and blah blah blah. And so he loves to make shorts, anyone betting against his stock, burn. He likes to squeeze them, and that's one of the reasons that we saw massive squeezes in Tesla in the last little while, is because they are profitable now, and he is making a ton of money, and a lot of car companies aren't making a lot of money. And so he likes to put that into everyone's face and say, look, I told you, Tesla's good. And, that's one of the reasons that he is one of the richest people in the world, because he didn't sell a lot of his shares. He rode for that time. And, don't get me wrong, he's sold shares now, but he's also come out publicly to say in multiple occasions, I think Tesla stock is overvalued right now.
Now, you made a very specific example, shared a very specific example. Could there be an outside chance that this whole Twitter game, regardless of how it plays out, was mapped out ahead of time, and he predicted the fall and the rebound and all the shit that's been going on, and that
like, did he engineer this?
Benefit from it?
Yeah. Like, was this engineered, do you mean?
Yes.
How he's playing this out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Great question.
I mean, the only person who would know that is Elon. But what I will say is he is a very intelligent guy. As much shit as he throws on Twitter and craziness, you know, he is very, very smart. And so I would have to assume that some of this is planned. Maybe not every aspect of it is planned. I don't think he planned for the economy to go into recession, for the stock market to drop as much as it has. But he is, in my opinion, just kind of rolling with that and using it to his advantage.
Yeah, it's fucking wild. At the same time, we're watching him dick around with Twitter stock. You got, I think it's 4 or 5 separate groups of Twitter shareholders, including board members, that are launching fucking big, fat lawsuits against him for tinkering with the price and manipulating the price by acting out on which he's doing now, which is, if you believe Axios and AP and Bloomberg, it's kind of what he's doing. What you're suggesting is exactly what he's doing. He's manipulating what he's already purchased so he doesn't have to pay full price, because he splashed out like an egomaniacal moron at the time because he didn't want, and again, everybody's saying the same thing. A lot of this came from the fact he didn't want people to find out. He likes to trade horses for blowjobs and doesn't mind having someone take a dump on him in certain clubs in Germany. So like that, these are all things that he's been trying to kettle, and he hasn't been able to kettle it. And now that the cat's out of the bag, my understanding is, from everybody that I've talked to, he's just chiseling away by tweeting about spam bots and this, and if it's not spam and bots, it's about something else. And it's fascinating, because if he is playing that long game, as Lochlin suggests, which I didn't consider, I just thought, he gets out over his skis, makes these stupid statements, and then he has to kind of behind the scenes try and figure out all this shit. But, I mean, from a perspective of saving money, it's kind of fucking genius. Speaking of which, the geniuses that came up with NFTs, which we're just starting to figure out now, non-fungible tokens, digital art, digital collectibles, are all getting arrested.
Not all of them.
A lot of them.
One guy.
A lot of them are getting arrested. Let me bring this up and get your thoughts. Not that one. I think it's this one. And it wasn't just this guy.
Not this guy.
No, it wasn't this guy. Is it this guy? Is it this guy? Which one? No, it's not that guy. It's different. Hang on a second. No, I'll get it. Hang on one second, because I sent it to you. I got it right here. What's the gentleman's name? Here we go. Oh yeah, here it is. OpenSea. Former OpenSea executive arrested by feds for insider trading. NFTs, quote, might be new, but this type of criminal scheme is not. A former executive from one of the largest NFT marketplaces has been charged with insider trading. OpenSea exec Nathaniel Chastain put crypto spin on an age-old insider trading scheme. Apparently what he did, he'd buy up dozens of these NFTs that he knew would be featured on the site's homepage prior to them being featured on the homepage. He would then buy them and then flip them for up to 4 or 5 times what he initially paid, because he had access to these before they came out. He would buy them personally and then benefit from them greatly later on. Could be the strongest sign yet. They say that the accountability is starting to loom large in a unregulated industry. And I read that and I'm like, fuck, is this that unregulated? And then I did a little bit more reading, because you sent this to me. Coinbase CEO to insider trading allegations with changes for token listings. This gentleman, his name is Brian Armstrong. He's the CEO of Coinbase, which is a huge, crypto NFT platform. He's doing the same thing. The rumors, he's a cartoon in this picture. A bunch of his employees are doing the same thing, because again, this isn't regulated. And I got to ask you, are we kind of closing in on a time when regulation in the crypto and the NFT world is probably necessary? Because we've seen Luna go bankrupt to the tune of $60 billion or something like that. We've seen people run away with assets. We've seen this shit get stolen. We've seen people get fucked over. And we only hear, the big stories about guys going to Vegas with their rollies and making 20 billion in a day on Dogecoin and this stuff. And it's almost like too good to be true. But are we starting to see that maybe it is too good to be true? Maybe it's not good at all.
Well, I think with any sort of financial thing, there are going to be bad actors. And you're seeing that here with the guy from OpenSea, where, to your point, he knew that some projects were going to be featured on the front page of the website. And if I'm new to crypto or whatever, that's where I go. I go to the front page of OpenSea and see what's trending. And so if something gets featured on the front page, you usually get a pretty big bump in the floor price of that asset. And so he was using that to his advantage to make money, which is, categorically wrong. But it did happen because there is no real regulatory framework around digital assets and especially digital property rights as it stands right now. And so all of that is coming. And I did send you a LinkedIn for some digital regulatory framework that is being brought to the U.S. government today by one of the senators that is looking to, kind of classify everything from Bitcoin to stable coins, altcoins, and ideally digital assets like NFTs. So I think that regulation is coming. But even, if you look at Coinbase, what those people were doing were using retail investors as exit liquidity. And so they would buy a whole bunch of tokens knowing that they would be listed on Coinbase, and Coinbase being one of the world's largest crypto exchanges. Anytime something gets listed on Coinbase or there's rumors it's going to get listed on Coinbase, the price, typically, at least in the last 2 years, the price would ramp up significantly. And so again, here we have people who know that something is going to be listed on the website. They buy a bunch of it ahead of time. And then the second it gets listed, the price goes crazy. They send those assets to Coinbase and then they exit and get people's money. And so anytime you have retail investors and FOMO into different items and assets, you're going to get some sort of level of corruption. And so I think it's good that we get this out of the way. Like, these people should definitely go to jail. And that's one of the things that I teach with stockmarketmentor.com is it's all about having a plan with your investment so that you don't become a victim of exit liquidity and you don't fall into that world of missing out, of FOMO, where you're just buying something because everyone's buying it and I don't know what to do next. And so that's where it comes to, the retail investor developing a plan, executing that plan, and then profiting safely from any of their investments, whether it's digital assets, NFTs, or the like.
Yeah, but every single person at OpenSea apparently is in on it. All the people at Coinbase are in on it. I read another report on that guy from Coinbase, and he's like, they said, hey, are there any other employees doing this? He goes, I think it's the nature of the business. And I'm like, holy fuck. That's like running an auction house, taking all the best stuff at the auction, keeping it for yourself and offering it up for another auction at another time after it goes up in value because you've used that auction to promote what you're selling and that everybody wanted it and you pique this interest. It's fucking illegal. Like, in the real world, if this is anything else other than these imaginary tokens and imaginary coins, it's fucking illegal, is it not?
If it was stocks, for sure. And so that's where that regulation has to come into play. And so we are looking for, I want that regulation in place because I want a safe marketplace for anyone who is invested in this kind of stuff. And so we are looking forward to that. And when that regulation comes in and when we have proper framework, that's when I think you're going to see this wall of money come into the digital asset space like Bitcoin, Ethereum, and some of these other tokens, because institutions will have they'll have groundwork that they can actually build a thesis off of, as opposed to right now where it is still a very highly speculative marketplace.
Well, one of the things you sent me.
Go ahead. Isn't that the allure of it, Scott? That it is this unregulated, it's off the grid, it's controlled by somebody other than
not the government.
The government. I think that you can also, the unintended consequence of regulation in the crypto Bitcoin world of finance might actually decrease its value to a certain extent. It could. No.
Well, I think it is regulated to a certain point. Like in Canada, it is listed as property. So Bitcoin is property. In the US, the IRS lists it as property. And so there are certain regulations, and it is hard for governments to regulate every aspect of it, other than really the on ramps and the off ramps, because these markets trade 24 hours a day in every jurisdiction that has the internet. So they can't regulate, the individual tokens themselves, but they can regulate the amount of leverage that these people are allowed to use in
Can I ask you a
certain
question?
jurisdictions.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Why, when I saw Luna tank and go bankrupt, lost 60 billion of crypto bros money, why, when I see guys get hauled off to jail for insider trading for NFTs, why, when I see people who thought that they were going, is it because I thought that these people thought they were getting a free ride, that I enjoy watching this whole thing start to crater? I don't know what it is. I think it's a terrible thing. Like, it's like Schadenfreude. It just lives in me, that all these people thought, like, you're a trader, you needed to diversify. You looked into it. You leveraged a little bit. Like, you did it in a smart way. There are people who literally mortgaged everything they had, bought crypto, that have lost fucking everything. And part of it is the too good to be true thing, right? Where you're seeing pictures of guys, and I pointed out all the time, driving Lamborghinis in Vegas, and they're 21 because they just made it big in the last couple of years in crypto and NFTs and all unregulated. Now we're watching how that money got made, usually by some skullduggery or some underhanded bullshit or some kind. It appears to be MLM-y. But is there a reason why every time I watch some crypto bro cry as he carries his fucking boxes out of his office because they went tits up, that I go, that's awesome?
Yeah, because you didn't participate. You only made $2,000. You didn't make six figures like the rest of us. Of course you're mad about that.
I guess so. But at the same time, I mean, it's just like everybody said it, right? It's too good to be true. Everything was so smoky. It was unregulated. And now we're watching like guys who have been on the take get caught being on the take. And I can't, like, if the first two, dominoes to fall are the dude from Coinbase and this other guy from OpenSea, I got to wonder, like, it's just two guys. There are thousands of people doing this, maybe more, right? You got to think that everybody else is doing the same shit.
With any kind of new industry, you're going to get bad actors. And then you're going to have lawmakers come up and say, oh, wow, someone broke the law here. We need laws for these areas. And it doesn't matter what it is. You're always going to get some area where someone is going to try and manipulate something or use something to their advantage. Dean, I sent you an article
level
about
of business. Like, it doesn't matter. There's always going to be people trying to take advantage of the system.
It happens in the stock market every day, and
the
Dean,
whole
I sent you
stock
an article.
market's full of criminals.
Yeah, it certainly is. And so that's where, knowing what kind of investor you are, knowing not to use high leverage instruments. I've never used a leveraged instrument in crypto because it trades 24 hours a day and I don't want to lose my money. And so anything that I own, I just own the asset. I don't use, own a leveraged version of the asset. And so, like I said, you're going to get people who look to take any sort of advantage that they can. And, it's sad when you hear things like Luna going bust. That was a bummer. But there was also people on the other side warning about Luna going bust and warning about algorithmic stable coins and how this whole thing was a house of cards. And then you had the hardcore lunatics, as they call themselves, who said, no, screw you, I'm making tons of money. I know of a guy who lost 8 figures. His entire investment was in Luna and he wrote it to zero. And that's because he bought in too much. He wasn't willing to hear the other side of the story. He didn't use a stop loss. He didn't use any sort of risk management. All the things that we teach at stockmarketmentor.com about investing, he didn't do any of that. He just said, nope, I believe in this guy named Do Kwon, and I don't care. I'm going to the moon. I have $20 million. Screw you. and now that 20 million is nothing. And and that's why you need proper. You shouldn't just FOMO in.
I love it, but why do I love that so much? I don't know what it is. It's like people that never pay. You do too, right? Yeah. Well, and you could stand to lose a couple bucks yourself over this whole thing, but it's
I'm
like
hard on the crypto right now.
Yeah, right. Hard on the crypto, but it's like when I find out a guy rode 20 million into the toilet just out of pure obstinance, I'm like, good.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It is hard. Like I did lose a bunch of money in the last couple of months here in some of my longer term holdings. 6 figures worth I'm down from my high. And that's hard to swallow. But it is part of my longer term plan. And so, okay, if I'm sitting through my longer term plan,
Right.
then I'm just executing that plan. And so maybe that's what this person did. I think, for me, I always have to look at the thesis of my investment. Has anything changed about the things that I'm investing in? Is Bitcoin more risky now or less risky now? Are we closer to regulation where more institutions will get involved, or are we farther away? And so when I look at Bitcoin, I look at more institutions are more likely to come in with all of these regulations coming in, and less of the bad actors are likely to be involved because there's going to be laws in place. And so that's what has me still excited about Bitcoin and crypto, that all of these laws are finally going to come in place so that more giant institutions with trillions of dollars of money needing to go somewhere will come into some of the good assets of this space. And so while it is easy to look at Luna, let me tell you, Dean, that was not the first rug pull. Mark Cuban was in a rug pull. Here's this. I think he's a billionaire. I don't know. Is Mark Cuban a billionaire?
So far,
he invested a bunch of money into one of these protocols that was very similar to Terra Luna, and he ended up getting rug pulled. And he is a well-known institutional investor who has anyone he can pay for can do research for him to tell him whether or not something is good or
and
bad.
he got fucked.
And he got screwed over. And so this is kind of the level that the level of sophistication that you need to have to navigate these markets safely.
Yeah, it's crying shame watching this whole thing collapse. Crying shame. I feel sorry for people like you, but not for guys who just went full on crypto and have been screaming about it. And the one thing that I notice, way fewer crypto commercials on television. You notice that? Like way fewer. They're like, we got to pull our advertising budget because we were losing our dicks. Like it's unbelievable. Like the Matt Damon one, the future favors the bold. That one where they stole like an old philosophical saying. There's no Matt Damon commercials on TV anymore. Going, hey, let's get everybody get into crypto because Matt Damon's like, holy fuck, you guys paid me in crypto. It's worth jack shit now. Unbelievable. Thanks a lot.
I'm down about $400 right now.
Yeah.
Today?
But I mean, I'm hanging in.
One of the things they said, dude, this isn't a good sign either. Traders think Bitcoin bottomed, but on-chain metrics point to one more capitulation event. That can't be great. The words capitulation event, that can't be awesome. Says Bitcoin price gravitates around the low of the $30,000 zone, luring traders to believe the bottom is here. But data from Glassnode warns of another final sell-off. So apparently it's coming again. So
what's happening right now in the market? What's happening right now is a lot of the crypto miners are having to raise cash. And again, it has a lot to do with the fact that the market conditions have changed. And so a lot of that's what we're seeing. A lot of the miners are who are selling the Bitcoin right now.
Can I ask you a question?
Can
I ask you a question? This is a serious
You're
question.
Make it worse, aren't you?
No, probably.
Yeah.
Here's a question. Is waiting for it to go to zero considered buying the dip? Yes or no?
It's not going to zero.
You're making it worse.
It's not going to zero. Record this clip right now so you can play it. We can play it again.
I'm asking, am I the smartest crypto investor if I wait for it to go to zero, then buy that dip? Yes or no?
No. You're not doing it right.
Okay. Because that's the next post for this fucking stuff. It's like, where are you going now? If it's hovering around 30,000, and I had a conversation with a buddy of mine who's in banking, he's like, I give it 5 years. I'm like, really? He's like, yeah. Like a lot of institutions are getting out of Bitcoin. And this is like 6 months after they all got it.
I don't think that's happening.
I don't know. That's just what he said. That's just his opinion.
I mean, maybe some institutions are getting out of it, but that doesn't make sense to me because
we don't want them.
I still think that we are early
want 'em, right, Scott?
in what the technology is.
Yeah,
100%.
We
Yeah.
don't- Yeah, you and Locke, you guys are crypto mavens. You're hard on the crypto. Yeah, big time.
Bitcoin was down about $1,400 today, I think. And now it's up.
all
Is it?
And now
all
it's up.
this.
Green on the day, Dean.
Green on the day.
All
Sorry,
this.
sorry.
We're back
sorry.
above 30K, my friend.
Well, I
This
want you to make
entire
money. I want
crash.
all the good people to make money, but it's all the douchebags that are walking out going, here's my Rolex, here's my mansion, I got to go back, move in with my parents 6 months later. This is the worst. Those are the guys that I'm
Remember a few months ago, the crypto was rocking and you're like, dude, what kind of car do you have? And I'm like, yeah, I still drive a Honda. Well, why? Yeah, because, I don't want to waste money on a car right now.
Don't you wish you would have took some of the crypto out when it was like 70 grand and bought a new car?
Like every fucking day of my life. But we don't live in the past, Dean.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
struggle-
Hey, listen, I'm joking
spread it
around and
all.
making fun of you. I
man,
can't
I
afford
know.
to
I love
invest, so whatever,
I
dude.
love
You
it.
got me beat by a fucking long shot. Scott Trades, at Scott Trades, is where you can find him on Twitter. Sorry about your Oilers. Thank you very much for spending some time talking about Elon. Thank you very much for sitting here and kind of going through the NFT and the crypto stuff with us. And I do wish you very well in the markets today. And I'm not talking about you when I'm laughing at other
Dude,
people. I'm
it's
talking
all
about
good.
other people because I think you're wonderful. Stockmarketmentor.com. Check him out. Follow him on Twitter. Download his podcast called the Hot Wallet Podcast, which is terrific, by the way. Who's on this week? Do you have a guest this week?
So I don't have a guest until around the end of June, but it's Anthony Scaramucci who is coming on. I don't know if you guys know who that is.
The
Mooch.
Mooch.
The Mooch is coming on, and so I've been preparing. I've been really busy with work because the market has been so volatile that I've been, doing a lot of back end research. And then we're also launching a crypto service at stockmarketmentor.com that I'm preparing for. So I've been a little lax on my podcast, which is why when I launched it, I said once a week ish. But this coming at the end of June. I'm going to have Anthony Scaramucci coming on. And so very excited about him. He has a fund called with Skybridge Capital. That's the fund that he runs. It's very heavy in Bitcoin and digital assets. And so I'll be interested to hear how he is navigating this market since the conditions have changed.
Yeah, he's a huge cheerleader, isn't he? He has been for some time now about the space. So, and listen, we've had the Mooch on this podcast before too. He's a good dude. You'll love him. He's fucking super shoot from the hip. Remember, I asked him if Donald Trump was a criminal, and he goes, "Do you like blowjobs?" Of course, he's a fucking criminal.
Amazing. Yeah. Thanks so much for having me on, guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Anytime.
Great to see you. Always.
Take care,
Scotty
Scott.
Trades. Follow him on Twitter.
Keep
Scott
rolling
Trades
on
is
the
where you can find it.
Keep rolling on the crypto.
Stay hard on the crypto, dude. Stay hard on the crypto. I kept Lindley out
Buy
of
the
that conversation. Yeah. On purpose.
I thought so.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know how much money I've lost in crypto?
Same as me.
Zero.
Yeah, I made $2,000.
Yeah, I didn't.
He might as well have
I-
been speaking Chinese there.
All of this
I
can
have
be
no idea what
linked
just happened.
timelines to when I jumped in. When I jumped in, she started to fucking crash. When I bought
It's
into
true,
Netflix,
isn't it?
It started to go up. Anytime you wanted to completely destroy your hopes financially, get me involved.
Have you guys like golf? Locke, you're a golfer. Chris, you're a golfer. Linz, I don't know how many times you've golfed. Have you heard of this new LIV tour?
Absolutely.
By the way, LIV, it's a Saudi Arabian tour. It's now in full effect. They had their first press conference today, which did not go well. A couple of guys got escorted out for asking questions the Saudi government did not want asked. It was fucking great.
Really?
Dustin Johnson sitting there going, I don't know, I just want to get the fuck out of here. Oh, yeah, dude,
paid.
it happened today. They had a big press conference about it.
I missed
And Kevin Van Walkenberg, who's a golf reporter, was talking about it. Daily Mail asked the players how to reconcile the decision given Saudi Arabia human rights record, long silence. Graham McDowell says, quote, I mean, this has been incredibly polarizing. I think we all agree the Khashoggi situation, that was reprehensible. Dustin Johnson and Louis Oosthuizen solemnly nod. After that happened, this guy named Ari Fleischer, who's a comedian guy, to serve as the MC of the opening of LIV Golf press conference. Ari was asked how he squared his current relationship with LIV Golf with his past tweets claiming Saudi Arabia was spending billions to ensure Mohammed bin Salman wasn't overthrown and that this was an example of that. Fleischer goes, that tweet was a long time ago. And then it all came to a head when an AP reporter was let out by security after he asked a question that that security people at the event in London didn't ask. But like, listen, this is like a Saudi government's attempt to actually snow over the idea that they're not dictators and assholes and a murderous regime, which they are. They killed Jamal Khashoggi, who's a reporter for the Washington Post. If you remember, they brought him into the thing. Oh yeah, dude, they're fucking terrible people. Just fucking like the government, terrorists, murderers, dictators, and they smile while they do it, and they do business, and everybody around the world keeps doing business with them, including this country. So listen, I'm under no impression that we're fucking we've got clean hands here either. Anyway, they started this golf league. It's called the LIV Tour. Now, the LIV Tour stands for 54 because there are only 54 holes of golf in all these tournaments. Normal PGA Golf Tour tournaments, 72 holes. It's a 4-day event. This is a 3-day event. The prize money is fucking ridiculous. $25 million purses. Winners get between $4 and $8 million. And then teams, they break all 48 players into 12 teams of 4, and that team with the lowest gross score wins another $5 million. So the winner of this tournament, if they win the group and the individual, they get something in the neighborhood of $8, $9, $10 million. On top of it, to attract certain golfers, the Saudi government has given up $200 million to Phil Mickelson, who called them dangerous motherfuckers last year, if you remember that correctly. They gave him $200 million. They gave Dustin Johnson $125 million to play on this tour. Just cash. Here's 125. Phil, $200 million. Then the news bombed yesterday that, and Kevin Na's on this tour, Taylor Gooch, Taylor Pyatt, bunch of different washed up, also ran golfers. Sergio, who's fucking old and shitty now. So this news report broke yesterday, and I'm going, is this real? Is this real? Tiger Woods was offered $1 billion to leave the PGA Tour for the Saudi LIV event, and he said no.
He doesn't need any more money.
He said
I was going to say.
Said no.
What is his worth? Is there a net worth?
Yeah, 1.8 billion. I looked up his net worth, about 1.8 billion, give or take a few hundred million, depending on who's lying and who's telling the truth. And I fucking couldn't believe he said no. I couldn't fucking believe it. I couldn't believe it for a couple of reasons. One, the guy's fucking playing on one leg, right? He's never going to be as competitive a golfer as he was before. He's like a year or two away from joining the senior tour, which is a fucking embarrassment. Like, nobody wants to be a senior on the senior tour. Mm-hmm. Some of his best friends have gone over to play on this tour, and he's buddies with DJ. There's rumors that other guys are going over. But who in their fucking right mind, if you're Tiger Woods, says no to $1 billion to play in 4 or 5 golf tournaments where, like, I fucking, there's no way he's not going. It'll be a month or two before he goes. Because all these players, like, here's the thing, 48 players in the field, that's it. There's no cut. Everybody gets paid, and everybody gets paid like double what they would get paid to win a PGA or place in a PGA Tour event. Yeah. What's your theory? So a lot of these guys, they are not motivated by money. It's not you know what? Listen, I bet you if you asked any one of them, hey, do you like money? They're all going to say, oh yeah, I love money. But their number one motivation is never the cash, the dollars. It's about winning, right? It's why half of them have fucking gambling problems. Phil's playing in London this weekend because he just lost $40 million in blackjack or fucking roulette or something, like, in the last 2 years. Like, it's in trouble. He's in trouble financially. But they gamble because they don't give a shit about the money. They want that rush. They need the win. And I have a feeling Tiger went, okay, if LIV takes DJ out, a couple of other guys, my chances of getting some of these goals met maybe increases if I can get my game back to a half decent level. I'll stay in the PGA. Interesting. Not a bad theory. It's not that I don't buy the theory, but there's an opportunity for a bunch of players. Like, you should see the field. There's like 7 or 8 well-known golfers that are way past their prime. Like, if you wanted to collect all the 2010 major champions are playing in this event. 2010, it's 12 years ago. Greg Norman is the commissioner of the league. He took $200 million
Scumbag.
to join. He's universally fucking hated. Oh, just a
is
piece
Greg
of
Norman
shit.
hated?
Just
Really?
a piece of
Scumbag.
shit.
I didn't
Like,
know that.
total piece
Why
of
are there
shit.
so many golfers that are just dicks?
Did they offer?
Greg Norman's always been a dick. That's that.
Did they offer Jack Nicklaus $100 million to be the CEO and face of it
Yeah.
all? And he
Yeah.
said,
And he's like, fuck you. Fuck you. You guys killed an American citizen. I'm not working for you.
Yeah, this is hard.
And then
to
Greg
swallow.
Norman called him a fucking hypocrite. And Greg Norman then said Rory McIlroy was brainwashed because they asked Rory to be on the tour, offered him $150 million, and he's like, "No thanks, I'm good." That's fucking weird. The whole tournament's weird. Like the group game, they all have different names, like the Black Aces or the Flaming Lips and stuff like that. So the institution of golf in the United States is on its fucking head. Which, if you follow the PGA Tour, it could be the stuffy, most clumsy fucking professional sports league in all of sports.
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know a lot about this league, and I'm always surprised. Like, I always liked Phil, so when it came out that Phil wasn't well liked, I was like, "What? How is Phil? How's an old lefty not like?"
"Are you serious?"
I didn't know. Like, I don't
Well,
follow
everybody
it that
hates Phil.
close.
Everybody hates Phil. My
Phil's a
buddy Ian
piece of
Leggett told me a
garbage.
story about, because he was on the tour. He won the Tucson Open, I think, back in 92 or 96. I can't remember. Anyway, long story short, Lego was telling me how he was golfing with Phil in a tournament and Mike Weir. And Mike Weir was in his backswing, and Phil waited until Mike was in his backswing to crack open a bag of chips just to put him off his drive, like we would do in a game of drunken 18-hole weekend golf. That's what Phil would do to people on the tour. He'd cough or he'd sneeze or some guy would. Yeah. Oh, he is universally hated on the tour. Yeah. And actually, he started to get some of that back over the past few years because he started to make fun of himself and appear in commercials and make light of himself. And if you remember a few months ago, it was probably 2-3 months ago, a book came out where the guy quoted Phil Mickelson as calling Saudis, quote, "scary, dangerous motherfuckers." And Phil hasn't been in a tournament since because cancel culture came for him. And now the Saudis are like, we need a little help with some PR. Go get that guy that thinks we're dangerous motherfuckers and see if we'll take $200 million. Sure enough, he did.
I have his
I was
statement.
wrong.
Here's the question I have, and I don't know if you guys know the answer.
What's that?
Is the PGA Tour, like that organization, is it a bit corrupt? Is it like, why are guys, I mean, I understand the money, but why are guys jumping ship from something that revered by the public? Is it just dollars?
Let me show you why. $125 million for Dustin Johnson, his LIV Golf paycheck. Tiger Woods on course career earnings over 25 years of professional golf, $121 million. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why.
It's
Sorry,
also
Chris. You're
pretty
gonna say something?
it's also pretty grueling and long. You don't see your family for a while. Like, it's just, and you, like you said, Locke, they don't care about money. The players have been saying for a really long time they don't think they get paid enough to do what they do. And I think the other thing that we need to mention is, I'm not exactly sure about the other majors, but this doesn't affect the Masters because the Masters is its own thing. So all these guys that go to the LIV Tour can still play the Masters.
No, they can't.
They're trying.
They
Are you
have
sure?
to be, they have to be PGA Tour of America or registered PGA Tour players like European PGA Tour. They have to be registered with an actual tour that is identified by the PGA of America, and LIV Golf is not, to the point where all of these guys, Kevin Na, Gooch, dude, McDowell, Oosterhuizen, DJ, Phil, all of these guys had to resign from the PGA Tour. So they handed their cards in and said, we're out. See you later. And here's the thing. You can't compete in the President's Cup or the Ryder Cup if you are not a PGA Tour of America player. For America. You're fucked.
Really?
Yeah. These guys have fucked themselves, but $125 million for DJ, who's already got $200 million in the bank, and he's married to Gretzky's daughter, who probably has a little bit of money herself. And here's the thing. Dustin Johnson and Graham McDowell, they were both RBC ambassador to athletes. Yeah. Lost both of their rides, lost both of those deals because RBC's like, we don't fuck with people like murderous regimes. Crazy. Isn't it fucking wild?
No kidding.
Like, the whole story is incredible to me.
Every expansion league that always rivals the big league, whether if it's the XFL or the USFL, or even, like, as funny as it sounds with wrestling, who tries to go up against the WWE, they always fold at some point. They never really make it. It's these expansion leagues always have a shelf life. But I that's crazy about the Masters, because I truly thought the Masters was its own governing body, and they're like, we can do whatever the hell we want.
Dude, Dean.
Yeah,
Brooke, I thought I heard that even if they did play in the LIV, that there was still a possibility that they could get an exemption for the Masters. And I didn't follow up on it. I just heard what Rook I heard. Yeah. But
I want to talk to Mark Zecchino about it from Golf Talk Canada. I'm going to see if we can get him on. Maybe we should email him, because he's railing on this as well. And I'm not. Like, I think it's fucking crazy. I think the money is insane. I think the idea that these guys just hand in their PGA Tour of America cards, say, fuck you, we're leaving. I think that's ridiculous and crazy to me.
Well, that's legal, right?
Well, totally, and they have to. They're not allowed to compete on other tours unless they get a note that says, go ahead and compete. And if you're going to leave for this, they said you can't leave and go and play in that tour because it's a murderous regime that's sponsoring it. And they're like, fuck you, we're leaving anyway.
So what are the television rights going to be like?
I don't even know if it's on TV.
That's what I'm saying.
My understanding is that the LIV Tour organizers had to go to YouTube and say, will you put this on for us? We'll give it to you for free. And YouTube's like, yeah, sure, free content. We'll take it. So it's actually, the broadcast is free on YouTube this week.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So you can watch it.
I'm not going to watch it.
Jeff Bezos is going to step up and put it on Prime.
I think so. I think he's going to do it.
I feel like one of the streaming services would be, not obviously, let's just take the crazy murderous Saudis out of it, would be dumb not to.
Well, the field sucks too. Like, DJ's the best player. Kevin Na hasn't won in years. Graham McDowell hasn't won in years. Oosthuizen's 100 years old. Darren Clark 100 years old.
But it's
and then it's just a whole bunch of also rans. And I know it's the first event, but like, no one's gonna watch it because, like, fuck, the guys that are playing are either old or no one's ever fucking heard of him other than Dustin Johnson. Like, he's the only dude that everybody's gonna be like, I want to see how he does on that tour. He should win every fucking weekend. Like, if you think about it. He's got 5 tournaments that they're scheduled to play. He's going to get $125 million just to play in those. Let's say he wins all 5, 8. That's another $45 million. So you're up to $170 million. Then let's say he cashes in on the group game. He stands to make $180 million in 5 golf tournaments.
That's insane.
For one less round of tournament too, because it's not 72 holes; it's 54.
Yeah. Less work.
So he might be like telling all of his friends, like, "Hey guys, it's great over here. Like, you should probably come over and check this out. Just like forget about that whole Saudi thing and
fucking crazy.
And come on over.
Come pick one up one of these crypto bro Lamborghinis they've left on the side of the road and abandoned. Can you get
Are they allowed to drink
when they play? I don't know. The golf is going to be weird too. Like, it's John team Daly's shirts. John Daly's in it.
No, but he's going to.
I highly doubt it. The golf's weird too. I don't know. Fuck. Like, and that's the thing, is that I'm tired of the PGA Tour and the stuffiness and all the bullshit. So I'm kind of interested in this, but the golf's going to be shit because all the golfers are shit with the exception of DJ, right? So we'll see.
Don't sleep on Brooks Koepka's brother.
Is he in it?
Oh yeah.
Brooks Koepka's brother's playing in it.
Yep. Don't sleep.
Hey, did you guys know they sell corn at the dollar store?
No.
Come on. Oh God. Now it's corn in a bag.
Is that real?
This came up because there was this post that happened this week. Yeah, I guess so. It's ready to eat corn on the cob.
Oh my God.
But this came up because some idiot in Ottawa was all upset because a concerned citizen, he said, emailed him today saying that Dollarama Canada sells Hastings and Clark machetes. The person called Dollarama's head office and said, you got to get rid of the machetes in Dollarama. It's dangerous. And they refused. And then he was like, talk about poor community involvement. Now, if you look at these machetes, they're actually just gardening shears. They're for gardening. So the dollar store sells gardening equipment as well. And because of this tweet, everybody started posting stuff that you can get at the dollar store. And I was fucking floored that you can literally get bagged corn on the cob at the dollar store.
Jimmy would have told you.
Not tasteful at all.
I fucking can't believe that they have bagged corn on the cob at the dollar store.
Disgusting.
Either I never go into the dollar store, or if I do, I don't go enough. But who the fuck is going to buy corn on the cob at the dollar store?
You would be shocked.
Ryan?
Any sort of food. They don't even have the right kind of chocolate.
You wouldn't eat that? You wouldn't eat that?
No. No.
I wouldn't touch that.
I wouldn't.
You would eat that. You would put a little butter on it, throw it in the microwave, put a little dollar store.
We should do a boys barbecue and have corn in a bag and pickle in a bag for the boys.
I don't see why we don't. I fucking was floored by that.
Gross.
I had no idea. And here's the other thing. Also a lie. It's $2.
Oh,
Worst.
see? Inflation. Fucking Justin Trudeau.
Awful.
They've really upped the prices at the dollar store. Jimmy was complaining about that.
100%.
What? Are you serious? They upped
He
the
was
prices
talking
of the
about
dollar
the
store?
tuna, cans of tuna. I'm like, I would never buy tuna.
Are you serious? Tuna's more expensive at the dollar store now?
Yeah, everything's going up.
They sell tuna? They sell fish at the dollar store?
I'm telling you, Dean, they sell everything at the dollar store.
They do.
Jimmy shops there constantly.
They sell clothes?
No.
That's one thing I don't like. I think you can get mitts or like a toque or something, but you're not going in there to get a pair of pants.
Yeah.
Like, what does a normal dollar store sell? I only go into the front where the candy is before we go to the movies because there's no way I'm paying $9 for a thing of Glossettes. There's just no way. But what else do they sell in the dollar store? Do they sell, like, batteries?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I think
Batteries.
they're like off-brand. It'd be like Energizer.
Everything's off-brand.
And,
Yeah.
you know,
Energizer.
Durafell.
Panaflomic.
Panaflumix.
The other thing
You know?
is everything has a little bit less in it too. That's how they can like if you go and you buy a can of tuna and you get the one at the Safeway and it's like $4.75 for the bucket, right?
Do they sell
It's got
feminine hygiene products?
50
And
grams in it.
pregnancy tests.
What?
Yeah, they do
sell
have pregnancy tests.
at the dollar store. I'm sure they're incredibly reliable.
Come the fuck on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Leanne,
See?
she's like, yeah,
If
they sell
you-
pregnancy tests as well at the dollar store.
If
Their
you
chip
shop-
section is their chip section's an abomination though, so let's not even go there.
It's like
If you
The
shop
chip
at-
section.
They,
If you think you're pregnant and you want to know and you go to the dollar store, you don't really care if you're pregnant.
Well, here's what
No,
else
you're
I'll
right.
say. If you shop at the dollar store on a fairly regular basis, you're probably not having a lot of sex. So that the whole thing seems useless.
what?
Do they sell condoms at the dollar store?
good question.
Just plastic bags.
yeah, just use the
Oh,
bag
Henry
with your
wrapper.
other stuff.
It's a double use. You can buy and eat more and then use it for sex
Use it as a
after.
dome. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
It's
seriously,
birthday
do dollar
balloon.
stores sell condoms? That's your question.
I don't
don't
think
know.
they sell
No,
condoms.
I don't think
I'm
so.
Not, I'm not sure on that. They sell balloons.
Ashley says they don't sell condoms. She's a
sell
dollar store
balloons.
queen. That one she'll find like
They sell
the
jock
diamonds
straps.
in the rough there.
They sell jock straps at the dollar store.
You know what they sell too is birthday cards and Mother's Day cards, like
Yeah, yeah.
cards. Like where, like I've literally called everybody in my life and told them you're not getting any more fucking cards because every time I buy a card at Shoppers, it goes up by $5.
Yeah.
I bought a card for my mother for Mother's Day. It was like $12, and I started yelling at the girl at the counter, like, "What is this?
Of course you did.
$12."
I never want to go shopping with you. No offense.
Yeah,
Never want to
Yeah.
go shopping with
I
you.
was having a
Can we-
bad day.
I wish my
kidding.
mom was around to give her a card. I would have
Yeah.
spent $12 happily.
I don't give a shit what kind of guilt you put me through. $12 fucking dollars for a fucking Mother's Day card is criminal. The people that make
So is
them
not- so is
and
not
sell
loving your
them
mother.
should all be like persecuted. I don't care. Go ahead. I told.
I
my
don't
mother,
disagree with
phoned
you.
her
I-
and I said,
I'm just
"You're
kidding,
not
we're the
getting
same
any
way.
more fucking cards. I'll send you an E1." Like it's. She's like, "Okay."
Do they have elk pepperettes at the one in Edmonton, Lock?
Who?
Elk pepperettes.
I don't know what that is. Like you mean like what's
What's the
pepperoni?
one? No, the ones that you had diarrhea off of that one time.
Yeah.
Oh
No, that was
no,
kielbasa. He got a bunch of kielbasa.
No,
He ate,
Yeah, that's it.
he ate like a 1 pound coil of kielbasa and washed it down with some jalapeno Cheetos mac and cheese. Remember that? His wife was gone, so he ate whatever he wanted. Which is funny because I talked to my dad. My mom's been gone hit from the house for like 2 weeks because she's visiting my brother. I'm like, "How you doing?" He goes, "I don't feel good." I go, "Why not?" He goes, "Last night I had a bag of jubes for dinner." And I'm like, "Fuck, Dad, you're gonna kill yourself." He goes, "I know, right?" She's been gone for a week because I've gained 12 pounds.
my wife went away a couple years ago, and for dinner, I sat downstairs and I ate an entire package of hot dogs. I felt like shit for about 3 days.
Did you cook them? I have to ask
No.
if you cooked them. Okay.
I ate them raw, right
They
out of
were
the
raw.
bag.
Oh my god. Oh
Which
my
kind?
God.
Were they like the like loony dog hot dogs, the little guys?
Yeah, or
No.
ballparks.
The actual, the package that's like
Yeah.
this big, right?
You ever see how they make that stuff?
Don't
You won't eat it
care.
raw again.
They're
Yeah, you
tasty.
won't eat it raw again. No, they're
Yeah,
not that
I'm never
tasty.
watching one of those shows, like one of those Netflix shows. Did you
Don't blame
know
you.
how hot dogs were made?
What-
No, I don't, and I'm not going to watch that. Fuck
I'm gonna
off.
make you watch
One
it.
word,
What-
gelatin.
One
They
word:
Put that
liquefied assholes.
what they
That's
put
fine.
that meat through,
Two.
They're
though.
tasty.
It'll never get you sick, so you'll be fine.
Yeah. They bleach the meat. Time for some listener email, or what do you call this, Chris?
Mailbag.
Yeah,
The
man.
mailbag.
Yeah,
Because I don't have access to it for a variety of reasons. One is, and I'm not important. I'm not as too
You'll
important.
respond.
I'll respond, and when I respond, I get in trouble. And the other thing is, I don't really care, right? So I only have access to a couple of accounts, and Ryan and Chris see all of it, as does Joe, that nerd dad from that nerd dad show. But what do you got for us today, Chris?
so we get a lot of requests, just
Mailbag
different things,
music.
content, people saying nice things, not nice things, and you just kind of say thank you and respond back. But there's some that stand out that I bring forward to the group, and this one stood out just for the length of it. So I have it here for us.
Go ahead and read it if you
I
can.
just want to preface that I don't know who this is that they're talking about. And I'm not being rude. I just have no idea who this is.
Right.
Not the person that sent it, the person that they're talking about.
All right.
So
We'll figure it
This
out.
is all new to me, so it'll be fun.
Yeah.
wait till you guys see how long this message is.
It's probably about me.
It's from
Hi,
Julie.
Dean.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard of Toronto Mike until you mentioned him last week, re the Derringer story. I listened to the most recent episode, and wow, you are mentioned a lot. His guests are not a fan of you either. As someone who listens to your sketchy radio show, his words, not a radio show, digital, every day and looks forward to it, I beg to differ with their critiques, including ridiculing your website. The guest goes over your history at the edge and your excuses for being let go. And then Mike says he has a final word about you. My wish for Dean Blundell is he would just leave me the fuck alone and go pick on someone else. And this is new. I haven't said, I didn't share this with you guys on purpose because it was almost too good. I want to do it live.
lumps you in
We'll
with
pick on
Derringer,
someone
Mike
else.
Stafford.
Yes, he lumps you in with Derringer and Mike Stafford, no relation to Matthew Stafford of the Rams. As radio people, we should be glad are gone. Every time I thought that they were moving on to another media story, they returned to Derringer, Blundell, etc. For what it's worth, I'm only one listener. I look forward to listening to your podcast every day, so much so that I actually feel withdrawal when I miss a day. Nice. It's like listening to a conversation among friends, honest, genuine, real, and fun with no topic. You think we're done? We're not done. One listener, I look forward to listening to your podcast every day so much I actually feel withdrawal when you miss a day. It's like listening to a conversation among friends with no topic off limits. I'm not sure what Toronto Mike's podcast numbers are, but I am biased. Let's just say I didn't thoroughly enjoy listening to your show. Thank you for the daily effort and entertain and inform. I look forward to tomorrow's podcast. Then they added a link to the podcast. So, of course, I did my due diligence and clicked the link. And the podcast was 3 hours and 15 minutes long.
Oh.
Same runtime as Fellowship of the Ring.
It's a long time to be bothered by me, isn't it? 3 hours and 15 minutes.
Can
And
you
they
guys?
spent-
I'm 31
They
years
spent an
old.
hour on you.
Full disclosure, 31 years old. I don't know who Toronto Mike is. Can you guys fill me in as to
No,
who this
I've never
is?
heard of him until Dean started shitting on him last week.
Yeah, I had no idea who he was until.
Is he a jock?
he
Is he
mentioned
like?
No, he's how do you describe him? I don't really know. He's like this mini blogger who, like, when I came to Toronto, it's kind of a funny story because when I came to Toronto, there was like these pictures of me when I was working in Windsor saying this guy's coming to Toronto, and I'm like, I have no idea who this guy is.
Mhm.
And then all of a sudden I started seeing shit posts about me being like a piece of shit or a loser. And he was friends with Humble and Fred, who I think he works with right now, Humble and Fred.
He's
Pretty
the
sure.
producer
Yeah.
on
I don't
their
know who that is either.
podcast.
I don't know. No idea.
And I think
Yeah.
he might have been. I think Toronto Mike and again, I don't know for sure,
Yeah.
but I think he may have actually worked with Humble and Fred when they were on that 640 thing That
No
what
idea.
was that men's radio thing?
But they are all
No idea.
together now.
guys.
Yeah.
They do each
They're
other's
together
show all
now.
the time too. Yeah,
So he just to
big
kind of brass
video
tacks
now.
it. What
did you
he
do to this guy?
is he. I don't. I have no idea. He's been obsessed with me for 20 years. So and obsessed with Fearless Fred. Like he was the guy that put out all these like Photoshop pictures of Fred's wife getting gangbanged.
What?
On his and it was on his platform. Said that Fred caused Martin Streak's death. He perpetuated that rumor for a long time. Fred was getting threats. His family was getting phone calls.
I remember.
Like
Is that the guy?
That's the guy. That's the guy. So when Derringer got fired, and the first article about how terrible Derringer is was written by this guy, I thought, fuck, what a grandstanding cock, which he is, right? And then I was reminded of the kind of individual this guy was after Chris told me, he's like, I got to read you this article. It's about this guy. I won't tell you what's in this email we got, but it's about this guy, Toronto Mike. And I'm like, fuck it. I'm pretty sure that's the same guy that when Martin Streak died, started perpetuating this rumor that Fred's hiring led to Martin Streak dying, and Fred got, and you can talk to Fred about this.
Yeah,
Hundreds of emails and threats from people associated with this guy. Pictures of Fred's wife photoshopped into like a porn gangbang. Like, ask Fred about it. He'll tell you about it. We talked about it at golf like last year, I think. Like, he's not a good person. And on top of it, my understanding is he is such a compulsive liar that it's like, he apparently runs a media business with no clicks and says, I got millions of this and hundreds of thousands of that. Just nothing. He's just a nothing.
Who's the guy he had on with?
So
him
I'm
on
not
that
shocked
podcast?
because
The guy
he's
that
literally
sounds like Nardwar.
no idea who he's talking about. I have no idea about any of this stuff because it's like this guy is almost like a noisy dishwasher to me, right? Like just whatever. He's there. You can kind of hear it in the background. And he's such a fucking wiener. Like just one of those, Locke, these guys like radio wieners who like never got a chance to be on the radio, always wanted to be on the radio, would practice into their microphone and then got enough money to grab like enough money for like a podcast or something like that. And then put it together and then started interviewing his favorite radio people. He's asked me to be on his podcast like 100 times. And every time I'm like, no, thank you. No, thank you. No, thank you. And then I remember one time we did a show about the fact that I wouldn't go on this guy's podcast. This is years ago. And he faked and cut together this fake interview about me like I was talking to him or something. It was the weirdest. It was like stalker shit where I'm like, this is fucking bizarre. So he's kind of like a radio stalker is what he is, like an old wiener radio stalker who thinks he's somebody and he's nothing. He's just miserable because he was never what he thought he should be. That's all.
Dean, stop bullying him and just leave him alone.
Yeah.
That actually came up multiple times. There's a nice puppy.
Leave me alone. I wish
that
he'd
came
leave
up.
me alone.
What do you think?
I never talk about it. I have no idea who the fucking guy is other than the fact that all he wants to do is stick his nose in my asshole, which is fine if he wants to. It's there.
It's so odd. It's creep. It's kind of
So
creepy.
It is creepy, isn't it? It's
you-
like stalkery.
Yeah.
When you brought him up last week, I didn't know about this connection, so I was surprised at your level, your aggression for him on the podcast.
Vitriol.
And it I think it surprised him as well, based on because I had a couple of people send me the Toronto Mike podcast where he's shitting on you. So I listened to it the other day, and I was
How
like,
was it?
well, I just thought it was going to go away, but
You
apparently
had 7
not.
hours to listen to it.
What did he say? I don't even know what he said. What did he say?
I think we've summed it up for the most part.
How was the quality of the broadcast?
Well, there's a guy that's why I was asking you if you knew his co-host. He's got a guy that jumps on with him apparently. Like I've never heard of him either, and this is the first time I've ever listened to him. And his voice is fine, but the guy he had on with him has this Nardwar human serviette delivery.
Can you do that one
And
more time so I can clip
it
it
was-
for later?
Dude, it was harsh to listen
Hard to listen to. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's the guy was smart and put words together well, but
Hard to listen to. Yeah. There's a lot of people out there like that are like, and listen, if you're like, if he calls himself some kind of radio critic, it's like being a fucking VHS critic now.
Be kind and rewind.
Like,
It's like when you hear like a food critic that's never been a cook. why would you listen to them? You know,
Speaking-
I wouldn't eat in that restaurant.
Speaking of fan mail, I
That's a
have
great
been seeing
point.
a lot of requests for Ryan to
Go shirtless.
stream him cooking and put recipes on the website.
Yeah,
I've got a
we've
lot of
something
requests
there.
for people that are really love all your smoking and your cooking and stuff like that. Just since we're on the fan mail discussion, that's
Well,
been the second most I think thing I've seen, minus "fuck you, Dean." Is can Ryan please
Ryan cook more?
put his cooking on the website with recipes attached? So I don't know. I
List
know.
is, fuck you, Dean, and then hey, Ryan, can you bake something for me?
Can you what do you do with a filet mignon?
I know you have something in the works, so I don't know if you want to just tell everybody that
Yeah,
there's
we-
you have something you're slowly bringing
I
to
was
light.
talking, yeah, we can slowly, because we're still planning it out. But Army Chris and I are putting something together to do some. He's a pretty big cook as well. We're not chefs; we're a bunch of hacks, but we just seem to have a knack for it. So, stay tuned. We will have something for you, hopefully soon. And now with the new schedule change for me, it might actually give me more time to
Cook.
focus on it. No, focus on that, you know, and
Yeah.
it's not you're not pressured by the live stuff all the time. So we'll see.
Sorry.
Well, straight up,
Didn't mean to pressure you.
the one you did on making your own jus
Hmm.
trended on the website.
Yeah,
Not that jus lock.
Oh,
careful.
Demi-glace. Yeah, he did this
Demi-glace.
really bougie post on making demi-glace, which is actually really good, and I tried to make it, and I fucked it up. It looked more like chunky
did-
soup.
And I
I
have
did
some.
too.
I have some for you in the freezer, Dean. When I bring you the shirts, I'll bring you the jus.
maybe the next time my wife goes away, instead of eating an entire pack of 12 hot dogs, I'll try your old jus.
Or give me a call. Yeah, I can walk you through
You
like
should.
walk you through like a pasta bowl or something.
Lock, you paint the toilet with your own demi-glace, bud.
Demi-glace. Yeah, you do.
I'm too tall to be back whacking off over the toilet. I always try to find a cabinet or something.
Talking about your butt.
Yeah.
Yeah, we weren't talking about that.
Talking about poop, not your not your
I
jizz,
thought you were
bud.
talking about.
Nope. Nope. It's too
Au
much.
jus. Au jus.
That's au jus. That's not demi.
Au jus. Anyway, thanks, boys. That was fun today. Good to see everybody.
guys.
Thanks to Lochlin Cross, 957 Cruise FM in Edmonton. You can listen to him online at Lochlin Cross on Twitter. Thanks to our friend Ryan Lindley at Ryan Lindley, Sheeple Shepherd, the podcast. That's where you can find him. Subscribe. That is Lochlin Telling Stories. Chris Rook, our head of production, he gives no shits if you follow him, so I'm not going to give you his Twitter handle because it's impossible to even repeat.
It's
That's the whole idea.
Rocky.
Last time I tweeted was, I think, February 12th.
When he was rallying up the convoy
We're operating a digital website. The last time our head of production tweeted was February the 12th.
people. It's comforting.
I help everybody else out. And my name is Lochlin Tells Short Stories, by the way.
Sorry.
Because he said he was telling a 30-second story and it was 2 minutes and 55 seconds.
Oh, that was a long one.
That's usually where I clock in. I got this internal clock about 3-minute stories.
Just so you know, that's when the traffic on the comments goes absolutely bonkers every time you just as you say the words "quick story."
Hey,
It's
short
the most
story.
traffic we get on the chat.
hey, Gabriel Landeskog, how many minutes are Lochlin stories?
At least 4. Same amount of games it took us to whoop the Oilers. 4.
He's a good player, man.
Yeah, he's really
like
good.
that. He's like he reminds me a little bit of the Hyman. Where did we get Hyman from again?
Toronto.
Whoops.
Yeah. $6.5 million when we got a Hyman replacement that I think he had 28 goals this year. That was $950, so no big deal.
Love you,
Jeez,
Jane.
I'd be dead if it wasn't for Chris.
Hey,
Anyway, boys, thanks for doing this. It's what were you gonna say? Something else?
Blackball's at 24 on the podcast charts for daily news commentary.
Did you know that? Blackball the
Nice.
podcast is like huge.
James is
Huge.
killing it.
That's right. You can subscribe to that one as well. Anyway, thanks, boys. Appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow. But not Thursday because Lachlan's golfing in his fun pants.
I might not be here for the rest of the week either, so I will be playing
going
that
back to
day
work?
by day. Yeah, they fucked. They want us back in the office, and none of us know why. But here we go.
Oh, hey.
Is it me or because I said this today on Twitter and it's like fucking it went bananas. I'm like, is everybody getting these like you better come back to work next week letters this week?
Yeah.
Like that's going out? That's happening across the country.
It's
is
been
it
going
not?
on. It's been going on for the last couple of months.
You got to get back to work.
Mostly, a lot of them said June. A lot of people said they were doing it for June, beginning of June, and that was
post-pandemic. So are they aware that the pandemic is still raging? ICUs are full, hospitals are jammed, and we're sick as fuck. Like, are they aware of that?
No.
Kenny said that the pandemic's over.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
I've heard that from
best summer ever.
Most conservatives said the same thing. So yeah, no, I've got now I've got more expenses back to work. Like they're trying to prop up the other economies around business people going to work. They're propping up the restaurants. They're propping up microeconomies. We're not spending money on gas anymore, so that's a huge fucking loss for every oligarch in the world. So their job is to pretend that everything's okay.
I think it's more than that. I think it's productivity.
I don't know, dude. Like, I was talking to a buddy of mine that owns an insurance company. He sent everybody home, sold his office building, got rid of his leases, and he's like, dude, this is incredible. Everybody's been productive. End of day is like the only clock people have, and everything's getting done. There's no reason for me to bring people back to work. And people that he worked with actually came and talked to him and said part of the Doug Ford's mandate in this province, is probably like this countrywide, is to prop up the commercial real estate market, having those people come back to work. Otherwise, the commercial real estate market's going to fucking crater because no one's in these buildings anymore. And then the other part of that is gas. And you talked about microeconomies. They want people driving more. They want road tolls. Restaurants, like, you go for dinners and lunches. Restaurants are dying. They don't have that business lunch anymore because people know that the fucking pandemic is still going on. So what do? Because the pandemic is here. The only thing that is different is that nobody's talking about infection rates. Nobody's talking about ICUs. Nobody's talking about any of that shit. So we're sicker than we've fucking probably ever been collectively, even though we're vaccinated. And they're saying, yeah, now you have to come back to work because we need the money. Is that correct?
That's where we are. That's exactly what it is. It's the lobbyists, the people that lobby the governments are the ones that own those businesses that are losing the capitalists with properties, commercial property investments, restaurant mega chains,
monkeypox,
all that. Well, that's what they put in next, right? Like they said, now people are using that as a conspiracy theory, even though there's literally people with fucking monkeypox all over their face out for us to see with our own eyes. But that was a scam because
pretty sure somebody at a drive-through had it.
Can't you just say no if you're just as productive at home?
Well, yeah, I talked to another dude, and he's like, "Listen, we were all given." Ryan, you would know this, but this guy told me we were all given an ultimatum: come back to work by June, let's say 15th, or we'll consider you derelict and you're gone, and we're going to get rid of you, and we're going to cut costs by doing that, and we'll avoid severance and all that other stuff. But is that the goal here for a lot of different employers?
Is that allowed?
No. Yeah, it is because your employment agreement was to be employed at wherever you're gonna. I heard Leo Zamfuru, he's a labor lawyer. I heard him talking about it. The company have the right to tell you where to work, as long as it's within a reasonable exception of, like, say they moved your office like 50 kilometers, then you might have a case or something. But because we went home during a pandemic, they can use it as an excuse. So what I don't like, I'm friends with my boss, so like we talk, and it's the pressure that he's getting from his higher ups, and it's got nothing to do with he doesn't care. It's it's a company issue, and it's a company mindset and apparently it has been for a lot of the pandemic too. So
they're also doing a thing where they're saying, okay, listen, all right, we can compromise. You want to work from home? We're going to pay you 15-20% less.
I've heard that's being offered to some people, and I think it's absolutely fucking ridiculous considering the costs of the real estate would fizzle. Why would you charge your employees to work from home? It makes no sense. I could see forego. Right? Yeah, exactly. And it's exactly it. They just give me a reason. Give me a and you say productivity. Every study that's been done on the pandemic from people working at home shows productivity. Everybody reports productivity being increased.
Really?
So I work for. I get more. I know I get more done here working from home than I do in the office, 100%, because you're not
I'd
watching
whack
the clock.
off 4 times a day. There's no chance in hell I'd get anything done.
Yeah,
There's
go ahead,
no-
but you know what? You got you're not watching a clock. You're at an office. You're looking for 5 o'clock. You want to hit the road. You got fucking
Right.
traffic. Now you're gonna commute times, everything else. So you're stressed out. I'm not stressed when I'm working. If I'm working on something, I look up. I'm like, oh shit, it's 6. I didn't even realize I've worked an extra hour and didn't even fucking notice because I'm comfortable in my house with my dog at my feet, and I can make my own lunch. I can do what that. So
You're never late for work. You never get in fights with anybody
you never
at
call in
work.
sick.
You never call in sick. You'll work when you're sick because you can work from home sick. This is purely to appease commercial landowners. And let me explain something to you, and the oil and gas industry, and the restaurant industry. Go to the restaurants, support the restaurants. Do yourself a favor. If there's an option to stay home, fuck the Richie Riches. Stay the fuck home. Send these guys a message that you're not toys. You're not a group of people who are easily manipulated into doing what people want so that you can go broker and get sicker faster. Fuck that. Fuck it all. Honest to God. And I'm a big fan of, like, no, you got to go to work. I mean, all of my kids have jobs. I challenge them today when they're done school. We got one guy finishing high school in the next couple of months, or sorry, in the next couple of weeks. I'm like, have you thought about a full-time gig? If you thought, because he's in that life space. But if you're not in that life space and you can afford to work from home, and the only excuse your boss gives you for going back to work is it's time, or that's what I've been told. Go get another fucking job. There are literally thousands of them out there. Thousands of jobs doing what you do. Your boss will tell you there aren't, but there are. So if someone tells you to go back to work for absolutely no good reason, even though you're doing good work from where you are and you've been doing it for 2 years, fuck them.
Can I also throw this in
can.
there? Do not take any career advice from Dean, myself, or anybody on this panel.
Very much.
Experience Regina! Experience Regina!
You want me to play that?
Experience Regina!
Oh God,
Send us out on Experience Regina.
gonna be
I had
experiencing
people
angina.
asking to make sure that got on the podcast today.
Yeah, I will.
I love Dean.
Got it.
Hey, here's some career advice. Go tell your bosses to fuck right off. You
Seriously. Dude, I've been doing it my whole life. It's worked out great.
worked out really well for you.
Yeah.
That's Lock's right. Don't listen to a word I say. Go back to work if you have to. Fuck, you need money. Keep going. Don't worry about me.
Shit.
So-
They're gonna fire your ass if you do anything that we tell
Yeah, there's lots of jobs out there.
you. Yeah.
You'll have 3 careers in your average of lifetime, so don't worry about it. If
I'll
you're-
be fucking
either
back
one.
selling records and
Go back to the office, fall
soon.
down, hurt yourself, and go on disability. It's fine.
Yeah, that's right. My leg.
Dr. Summeroff, paging Dr. Summeroff.
I slipped on a paper. I got a paper clip injury. I drank liquid paper. Why?
I have
I
an
don't know.
addiction. Now
gotta
you
go
have to
home.
take care of me. You can't fire me. I have an
What is
addiction
this?
to liquid paper.
Experience Regina. What are we going to watch here to go
I
out on?
don't think we can explain it. Just play it. It just
All right.
needs to be
Have a great
played
day.
and
We'll see
let
everybody tomorrow.
Bye, guys.
suck
We're
on
leaving
this.
you with Experience Regina. Have a wonderful day. Bye.
So good. Here it comes. Check out the sick bass line.
The band is my favorite.
Regina, experience Regina. Regina, experience Regina.
There they are.
The pictures are awesome. The pictures are so good. Keep it going. What are you doing?
You can't.
Is this real? Is this like a Regina tourism thing? Regina, Saskatchewan is widely regarded as the world's worst city, by the way. Like, it makes Buffalo look like LA.
Just make move there.
Look at this lady with the buffalo.
She's trying to leave.
Regina, experience Regina.
Regina is the capital city of Saskatchewan with around 200,000 people and a devotion to ecology that has resulted in a system of over 100 parks. City Hall is part of a cluster
Why do you keep stopping it?
of modern buildings in the downtown area. It's a highly livable city that pulses with the energy of dynamic business leaders. Museums like the Regina Plains Museum preserve and interpret the cultural, social, and economic development of the area.
Oh, good.
Some wheat. Some wheat. The things that they're showing people in this promotional Regina video so far: wheat, a couple of Mounties, and some stained glass.
Sweet band.
Oh, here's that sick
yeah.
bass line I was telling you about.
Oh, this is a good bass line.
That's some Paul Simon.
He's gonna start singing again.
Where? Right here?
Oh, these two guys are the best.
Oh, which guys?
Look at them. Let's give it. Oh, there's the keys. Yes. Yeah.
Regina. Experience Regina. Regina.
It's got a gun.
Experience Regina. Regina. Experience Regina. Regina. Experience Regina.
Uterus.
Did you see the flash?
Just the best.
Flash?
It's just the best.
That was
I don't
a
know what
masterpiece.
that is, but I've been playing that non-stop on the show.
Regina.
Oh, you'll be doing it all night.
Experience Regina. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks for doing this with us. Really appreciate it. That is Lochlin Cross. That is Ryan Lindley. That is my friend Chris Rook. And that is it for us. Have a wonderful day. We will see you tomorrow on this very program. Wednesday, I believe we've got Matt Lemurs from MJ Biz Daily. We're going to talk about the cannabis industry and who fucked it up, which will be a lot of fun. Excited for that. And then towards the end of the week, we're going to have Blue Jacket Guy Polly on with a lovely young lady named Laura, which will be a lot of fun. She's got a terrible radio story. I love those. Not only that, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. Special guest on Thursday. Can't talk about it. It's a big guest. Hasn't been confirmed, but I'm pretty sure it's happening. So we're tucked in. Have a great day. Thanks to our friends and sponsors at Easy Auto Financial for making this possible. Go to Easy Auto Financial if you need financing for a vehicle. No obligation at all. They do not charge you, and they hook you up with the car you need. Everything is turnkey if you want free financing. And you want someone to take care of that car purchasing bullshit, go to easyautofinancial.ca. No obligation there as well. That's it for us as well. Thank you to our friends over at Domination for making this possible. DMNTN.com. Go there today. It's AI for people that produce content like this, streaming, gaming, etc. What you need to do is use them. They're free of charge as well. If you're a podcaster, gamer, streamer, and more, use these guys. We do all the time. DMNTN. Try them for free today. DMNTN.com. And last but not least, of course, Ed's Fine Imports. His Gitch are on us. They could be on YouTube. GITCH. Gitch 3 is your promo code. Gitch and then the number 3. If you go to edsfineimports.com and you order 3 pair, I'll send you a free pair when you use that promo code Gitch3. But you can also shop for cool online savings as well. He's got 15% off when you use your promo code. Also, if you give him your email address, he's going to make sure that you get another 15% off too. So smart guy, Canadian man, and he sells clothing for men and boys and the best underwear on the planet, branded, Canadian made, GITCH. Go there today, order from Ed. That would be great. Have a wonderful day. We'll see you tomorrow on this program. Bye, everybody.